Get in here, get in here, get in here, get in here, get in here. MJ Harris style. Get in here. Get in here. What are we talking about today? Today we are talking about Do Not Quit. One of my favorite poems, posters, was always a poster growing up. You would find it in everyone's house. It goes, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile but you have to sigh, when care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. I love this poem so much. I would just love to read it and to remind myself uh, when I was just going through a rough time. And today, I just wanted to encourage you all, even if I encourage one person. I feel like in life, we should never underestimate the power of one. Each one, reach one. Never underestimate the power of one. Even when something you do, if it reaches one person, if it encourages one person, if it changes the life of one person, then that one person will also reach another one person. Then it keeps going like that, right? So, yeah, we are going to talk about not quitting. Show up anyway. When you feel like it, when you don't feel like it, when the days are dark and dreary and it's rainy and you don't want to be outside, when it's snowy and cold, come rain, come hail, come thunder, come sunshine, you show up anyway, right? We keep showing up. And don't wait for things to be perfect. Don't wait for conditions to be perfect. I'm doing my lives right now as practice for building my habits and content creation. And yeah, you guys have seen it sometimes, because depending on what time I'm doing it, I'm somewhere where the lighting is not as good, but I have to do. I'm not waiting for perfect conditions, because guess what? Perfect is the enemy of good. Perfection is the enemy of great. You will wait forever. One of the things they emphasize when it comes to entrepreneurship and prototyping, they're saying, don't wait. I remember someone just this past week, they were talking about Uber when they started, how their app sucked like no man's business. And yet people use it anyway. And look at where Uber is now. What if they would have, stopped? What if they would have thought, oh, we're waiting. I know people that have gifts, God has given them gifts, music, whatever. And they'll say, oh, I'm just waiting on the Lord. Look, I am not downing waiting on the Lord. As a believer myself, I do seek God. And I know God talks to us differently. He leads us differently. But I've seen people just going to the grave with their gifts, and they think they're waiting on God, books in them. Like Dr. Miles Monroe always used to say, the graveyard is the richest place on planet Earth, because it is so full of gifts that weren't expressed because people were waiting. Sometimes I feel like we say we are waiting on God, but it's just really a defense mechanism. For me, at least it is, because of course perfection is the enemy of great. So I feel like if I just do this live, people will see my imperfections. I've talked about people will see my beautiful double chin, you know people will see the wrinkles, which actually your wrinkles tell stories. Your face tells stories about where you have been, right? So why we want to erase them is always a mystery to me. But anyway, I digressed. So it's like you just waiting for perfection, but perfection doesn't exist. You just have to start where you are at. Start with what you have. Look in your hands, like God said in the Bible. What is in your hands? You know, what is in your hands, Moses? What is in your hands? You know, start with what you have. Don't wait for $1 million or wait for, or start. If you have $1, start with $1. I don't have a camera right now, a good camera. So I figured I'll use my laptop camera. I'll do lives and then I'll upload them. But it's helping me create consistency, right? It's been difficult sometimes, but I show up anyway. My goal is not every day, at least not for right now. I try and do them every other day, and I'm pretty content with where I'm at, and I know I'll get better. Right now, I'm just building a solid foundation. Sometimes I don't always feel like coming on here because maybe my face is not ready, or maybe because I just don't feel like it, or maybe because I don't have a topic to talk about. But I show up anyway. Even if I start rambling, a topic will come up. But what we are not doing is quitting. We are just not quitting. We don't quit, right? You keep showing up. And there's one of my favorite verses in the Bible. I will put it in the comments because I can't remember. But it's better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof. Sometimes we want to come when things are ripe. Nobody wants. I remember my mom was so great at just like growing trees, and she planted all these trees, fruit trees. And some of them, I left the country, I never ate the fruit, but I saw these trees being planted. I just see pictures, I see the fruit, apple trees, peach trees, whatever, avocado trees, papaya, whatever. They took so long, and nobody wanted to be there when we were watering these trees. Nobody was there, but now people are enjoying the fruit of those trees. So sometimes people just want to show up when things are big. Sometimes I watch, for example, reality shows, and someone who nobody was talking about, and maybe now because they've been on this Netflix show, whatever, you see comments like, oh, the fact that I know this person in person and now I'm watching them on Netflix is interesting. And I'm just like, that is interesting, because when that person was nobody, you weren't talking to them, you weren't going after them, looking, for them. Or even sometimes people would not, maybe they weren't even they would see this person and ignore them and not say anything. But the very fact that now they've been on Netflix, now they are potentially a celebrity, now you're talking about the people. Just want to come when things are good, when the company is now big, and or maybe you're on Shark Tank, and now they're like, yeah, we grew up in the same house, oh, we are cousins, oh, yeah, I know them, we come from the same village, oh. And for us Africans, something I always think is interesting, we like to claim people. You see people under Lupita Nyong'o's, videos. Yeah, us Kenyans, we are proud. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but I always feel like it's always interesting to me when Lupita is winning, all the Kenyans are on a timeline claiming her. But God forbid Lupita does something and the whole world is criticizing her. No one wants again to be associated with Lupita. Like, what's up with that? So that's why I'm saying, do not measure the temperature of the effect of what you're doing by the applauses you get, by the number of views you get, by the number of likes or comments you get. Like, you do you know why you started that business, why you're doing what you're doing. So don't quit. Keep at it. Keep showing up. Show up correct. Be prepared. Look nice. Don't show up for people. Show up for you. Go to the gym every day, not so people can say, "Oh my God, you look great," because you may never get those compliments. You may never get it, and people, but just gain a pound. You will see. I will never forget someone in my past life in this one place I was. That person just came up to me and said, "Ah, Sister Isabel, what happened to you?" And I said, "What happened to me? You used to be so slim and nice. Now, what happened?" This person knew me when I was so slim and nice, but they never came up to me one day and say, "Ah, Isabel, you really look nice. You look no." There were no compliments when I was slim and nice, but just gain 1 pound. Oh man, some the human nature, Soka. I don't know. It's interesting to me. It's a mystery sometimes that I want to discover. Why are we like this? We will see someone winning, be all up in their stories and see their stories and wins, but we will not say anything. But let that person die. Me, I don't want anything on my timeline. No. In fact, I need to tell my family, God forbid, when I die, do not post anything on my timeline. Go, "Oh, rest easy, rest in peace." When we did not talk when I was alive. Why do you now want to write on my timeline? For what? For what? Why are you writing on my timeline? When I was alive, we did not talk. When I was alive, you did not write anything on my timeline. So, it's just an interesting thing to me. But it's like, yeah, let someone die. Oh, man, this person, life is short. Oh, Sister Isabel. If I remember there was a situation, a past situation in a community I was, someone got sick and they had cancer and they did not tell anyone. And people were shook or shaken, they say shook. Now I speak the language of Gen Z. Shaken by that death because nobody knew this person was fighting this thing with the people that needed to know up until her last day. And she just disappeared maybe for like a month. And the next thing, the person died. And people were like, why didn't she tell us? Why didn't she tell? And what would you have done? If this person would have told you, "Oh, do you know, I'm dying, I have cancer," so then you would have loved her better. We should love people, whether we know they are sick or not. We should love people, whether we know they are going to be successful or not. Just love people where they are. So if she would have told you that she had this disease, and then you would have shown her love. Why didn't you show her love when she was not, you didn't see her at church for a month? Did you call her to find out how she was doing? I haven't seen you at church. Are you okay? But we don't. But then once the person drops dead, I will come back from death and haunt you, or if you post on my timeline. Sure. And sometimes families don't even know, close relatives, they don't know. For example, if someone passed away, maybe an accident or something tragic, you're posting people's deaths on Facebook timeline, and their families haven't even been told. I'm telling you, this age of social media, it is its good things, but man, oh man, I appreciate it, but some of the downsides. Now, I don't even know how I got to this story. We were talking about not quitting. I beg, let's reel it back in. Don't quit. Don't do things for the applause of people. And like even Jesus, like a prophet is never honored in their town where they are from. They were like, Jesus, isn't that Joseph's son, the carpenter? That poor old carpenter, what can he do for us? People will look at you like that. your own, the people who know you, the people who grew up with you. So when you do things, don't even look to those people. Don't look to those people. When they're showing up on your timeline or whatever they're doing, they're just monitoring. They're just monitoring progress. It's not because they care. Because if they really did care, then they would do something about it. But it's just like, even me myself, I'm guilty of it. Sometimes, I just go on people's timelines because I'm just being nosy. Let's be better though. Let's be better. Let's not be doing that. Let's not be doing that. Let's not be on people's timelines unless we really care for them or care about them. Anyway, I digressed, but please don't quit. Show up, whether people show up for you or not. Don't do it for the applause. Don't do it for cloud. Do it, even if it's one person who watched. I'll never forget, I attended an event a couple of weeks ago, and then it was an event for people who are in technology and business and stuff, data science. And I wasn't even feeling like it. I wanted to cancel that event. But one of the things I've been trying to do for myself this year is the 4 agreements. If you've read the book, The 4 Agreements, one of the 4 agreements, I think, is be impeccable. Be impeccable with your word. The Bible says, let your yes be yes and your nay be no. I'm not always good at it. Sometimes I feel I'm only human after all, but I try. So I went for this event, and then it was a panel discussion. I shared my story, where I am from, how I got here, how I got to be where I am. And when we were debriefing, the organizer said, one of the things that the group really emphasized on was how there are people here that were on the panel, and they came from far. Some, came from Africa, and they've traveled so much. They've traveled the world, and they are here, and they are doing, some amazing things or some great things. And to me, just hearing that, even if it was just that one person who felt that way, because I also came from far. I came from another continent, and I came here by the grace of God, and I'm here. And don't get me wrong, I'm not even anywhere close to where I want to be. I'm still like just barely scraping the surface. But I was just glad that I attended that event, even if it was to encourage that one high school kid to keep at it, or to believe in herself, to say, if she can do it, I can do it too. She wasn't even born here. She speaks English with my Zimbabwean accent, and yet. So, yeah, I think that's the message for today. Do not quit. Show up anyway. Show up when you feel like it. Show up when you don't. Show up for yourself first. Do it for you. Do it for you. Exercise for you. Be fit for you. Look nice for you. Dress nicely for you. Go back to school for you. Not for anyone else. Not to prove them wrong. Not to start that business, for you. Do it for you. And show up no matter what anyone else thinks, whether they are clapping, whether they are not clapping. Because people will always be people, right? If you stand up, they'll say, oh, why are you standing up? If you sit down, they will go, oh, why did you sit down? You can never please people. So do what you need to do for you, and start right now. Start where you are at. Don't wait for perfection. Does not exist. Start right where you are. I told my story when I started to go back to school. I had a phone. I don't even know, that phone did not even have a name, to be quite honest. And I started on that phone. At one point in time, I didn't even have a laptop I would borrow, and I started. And one thing led to another, to another, to another, one leg in front of the other. Like I always say, Rome was not built in a day. Rome was not built in a day. Go to that library, sign up. Nowadays, it's not even a matter of degrees don't mean anything. You can have degrees like a thermometer and not even know anything. Degrees, nowadays degrees can be bought. You can buy a degree, whatever. But it's the knowledge and what you do with the knowledge. And there's various platforms where you can get education for free. Coursera, Launch Code. All you need is internet. And now with AI, my goodness, the sky cannot limit us. There's no limit. Improve yourself, work on yourself. Don't always be complaining about other people, what they are doing and what they are not doing. No, you improve yourself. Vocabulary, read books. My mom used to make me write like 5 words every day. She would say, I want you to write 5 new words every day. And she would buy me books, Mills and Boons. Yeah, I know my mom used to buy me Mills and Boons. Pesetas, is that what we used to call them? Authored by Nigerians. It was Nigerian authors. See, Nigerians out here hooking us up to win. The Kenyan, the Ngugi wa Thiong'o is how you say it. I can't remember. But she would buy me these books because she knew I wasn't as good in my, not comprehension per se, she just wanted me to advance my vocabulary, to advance. And I lived vicariously through those stories that I would read. She invested in me. She bought me those books, the Student Companion, extra books, we had the encyclopedias. One of my first memories was reading the book Round the World in 80 Days with my mom at a very tender age. So to me, it's just and that was then. How about now when we have YouTube, School of YouTube? My God. Is there anything you cannot learn nowadays? Man. So I am over it with the excuses for myself. I'm over it with myself with excuses, So that's why I'm showing up. I'm doing this. I'm showing up for myself, So you show up for you. You show up for you. And if you're not getting the applauses, or whatever, or if people are trying to distract you, let them. Like Mel Robbins says, Mel Robbins doesn't say anything we don't know, anything we haven't heard. That sounds to me like, ignore people. Sometimes you may need to get out of your comfort zone. You may need to separate from certain people, certain friends, certain friendships, certain friend groups, certain groups, to just be where, because sometimes I feel like crab in the bucket mentality, when we see someone trying so hard to change their lives, it triggers something in us that makes us feel less than. You understand? If someone is doing so great, working on their lives, working out, every day, showing up for themselves, it triggers something in me that makes me now feel I'm less than. So that's why now we want to pull down. So sometimes separating yourself from those people that know you is one way. They always know you as, oh, woe is me, poor is me, and they feel sorry for you. And they love that. They love that in my Nigerian accent. They love that, when they are putting little things in a plastic bag and bringing it to you, you're their project. It makes them feel good about themselves. Again, I'm not saying that's wrong, but I'm just saying, so to me, if you're able to show up for someone like that, so how come we don't show up for people when they're actually doing great things to develop themselves? So to me, it's like we like to show up when it makes, I don't know, us feel good about ourselves, so we can say, oh, you see that position where she is now, oh, it's me, I did it. If it wasn't for me, oh, he wouldn't have even finished high school. That's what we like, right? But when it's now doing greater things, and someone wants to start a business and they want freedom, now we say, oh, no, I don't, now we don't want to support, we don't want to be there. I don't know, it's just such a confusing thing to me, honestly. And I mean, God help me. I hope I'm able to be there for people as I need to. I hope I'm able to support others as they need to be supported, and not pull other people down, because your success is really my success. Your success doesn't take anything away from me. It adds, and I don't think my success takes away anything from you as well, anyone. So anyway, ubuntu, 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 my people, ubuntu. Let's learn from the Indians, guys. The Indians are killing it. The Indians, those from India, I don't mean Native Americans. I don't know. I don't know that many people that are Native Americans. So when I say Indian, I really mean those that are from India. But they're killing it, man. They're killing the game because of Ubuntu collaboration. So let's learn. Even the Bible say, look to the ants. There's always something to learn from other people. There's something to learn from the little tiny ants. They work together. They go great. You will see ants grabbing a big thing of bread. And you're like, these ants, and they are helping each other carry these big old things of bread. One ant will die with that big thing of bread, but together they work together to bring that piece of bread where it needs to be. Little ants. But us as humans, I don't know. But anyway, guys, I came, I saw, I conquered. See, 27 minutes, almost half an hour, and I didn't feel like it today. I didn't want to come on here, but I did. And I will see you again soon. Bye, y'all.